Rhino 3, this is Bluebird. Do you read? Over.
This is Rhino 3, reading you loud and clear, Bluebird. Over.
Rhino 3, change of plans. Jack Frost is heading for the Kapachi Kindergarten. ETA 3 hours. Provide support for a helo. Over.
Wilco, Bluebird, we're moving out. ETA 2 hours. Over and out.
Jack Frost? That's an old nickname me and Boris gave Professor Semenov when we were still students. Could it be? He brought me here to Pripyat years ago. Helped me get Tatiana a position too. And now he works for NAR? He must have his reasons. And he's always been a brilliant scientist. He's still my best shot at finding Tatiana. I need to see him.
Your old mentor, huh? Try and find him if you think it's important. Just be extra careful.
I'm always careful, Olivier.
You'll most likely have an escort. Try to sneak past. Don't go Rambo on them.
Georgy Semenov, a good old Jack Frost. You must wonder what happened to him all those years ago. Why would he work with the NAR, my love? Surely he must have a good explanation. He was always kind to us.
inside. Cold, wet, and full of mosquitoes all biting you in the dick. Patrolling Pripyat only makes you wish.
Take you off this perfect! We've got men! enough of this bullshit.
What a day. What a shitty, shitty day.
Get behind cover and shoot! get it. We dispatched an entire squad to fly in here and escort this old fart just so he can dig through some papers?
This old fart is more valuable to them than an entire...
Sound the alarm! Fuck, Alyosha! He's dead!
Quantum traces of the bomb generator. You're not half as quiet as you think you are. Show yourself. I know this is not going to end well for you. Let's see what you're made of. Why did you have to come back? This is not going to end well for you. Why did you have to come back? You're full of surprises, but it's not over yet.
Tango spotted! Engage your will! Smoke the motherfucker out! He's pulled up over there! We need to lure him out! Who the fuck is he? Find him! Shoot the hostile! On target.
I'm surprised to see you here. You are.
It's Igor. You remember me, Professor Semenov, don't you? It's been a long time. I thought you would have retired by now. But I guess there's no rest for a man of science like you and me.
Igor, it's so good to see you. But what are you doing here? It's not safe.
What are you doing here, Professor? Are you really working for NAR? Do you know what they're doing in the zone? How they treat the summer shells?
Please, Igor, slow down. My concern is science, as it always has been. The politics and administrative piffle, I leave to others.
Then what are you doing here exactly?
You don't need to worry about me. I haven't turned into Dr. Mengele. I study the local, fauna. They're very peculiar, very dangerous. You must have run into them at some point. There are reports dating back from before the Chernobyl catastrophe. It's very important that we gather every bit of available information.
Let the man catch his breath. Otherwise he may become suspicious. He was probably forced to work for NAR. That's my guess.
So this is Semenov. Very smooth, very slick. I wouldn't trust him if I were you.
Reports? In an abandoned kindergarten?
It wasn't only a kindergarten, you know. Back then, we've always been watched, monitored by those who want to control us. I tried to shield you from this. So this place, it used to be KGB document storage. There's a lot of stuff left in the basement.
Please, answer me, Professor. Did you sign some sort of pact with NAR?
A pact? How melodramatic. How ominous. I signed a confidentiality agreement and a contract of work, yes. But I'm not responsible for how they police their facilities. They have people for that. Can't you see what's going on here? This is much too important to leave to the half-wits in military uniforms and Armani suits. Chernobylite needs to be properly studied by real professionals.
I haven't seen Tatiana in 30 years. I seem to have some blank spots in my memory. I can't remember what happened the night of the disaster. I need to find her. I need to find out what happened to us.
Reactor number 4. That was a real disaster. Some of our colleagues paid the ultimate price for this misguided experiment. That's what happens when politicians are placed in charge of scientists. And Tatiana, such a sweet girl, and your friend Boris. You three were inseparable. I called you my 3 musketeers, remember? Look, my security detail will be back soon to collect me. I don't want them to hurt you or start asking questions.
How can I get in touch?
I will find you. Now, go.
Want to hang out for a bit?
Yeah, good idea. Is there something you wanted to talk about?
Actually,
Why don't you tell me about yourself? You're from Canada, right?
Yeah. My grandfather moved there from Ukraine when that was still an option. I grew up in a military family with military traditions. You might say my upbringing was as straight as the barrel of a gun. It was as much a curse as it was a blessing.
No family's perfect, I guess.
Our fathers keep tormenting us long after they've passed. Isn't that so? You know what's worse than being raised by a control freak? Being raised by a control freak who's also a former army colonel and a goddamn millionaire.
Sounds like you had a lot of expectations to meet.
Oh yeah. But whatever I did, it was never good enough. Not even after I made it into JTF-2. The top of the top. An elite unit of the Canadian Army. But I wouldn't give up. I was relentless. I was eventually promoted to my own command, and then disaster struck. We were ambushed near Raqqa in Syria, and everyone was shot to pieces. Except me. Every day. I think if only I could go back and change what happened.
I'm sorry, Olivier. That must have been hard.
It still is. I never went home afterwards. Everyone thinks I'm KIA. I'd rather be a dead hero back in Canada than a living failure.
Well, that's quite a story. I know you'll find a way to deal with your past, Olivier. You're strong enough.
Do you have a second, Igor?
Sure. What's going on?
I've been thinking about my family and my childhood in Minsk. My mom relocated to Pripyat after my father died of cancer.
Wasn't she afraid to bring you here? You must have been a teenager then.
Oh yeah, I was a teenager all right. A smart-ass little rebel in combat boots and goth makeup. My mom wanted to leave me behind with relatives, but I wasn't having it.
You were brave.
I was a goddamn stubborn lippy kid. That's who I was. My mom, on the other hand, she was a loving and caring soul. She thought of only others, never about herself. She came to the zone to help, and I followed. But now that she's gone, I'm starting to question my own reasons for being here. Sorry, I don't usually get sentimental like this.
That's okay. Sometimes we spend so long chasing something we forget while we're chasing it in the first place.
You're right. Maybe it's time for me to sit down and give it all a hard think. You should do the same.
Hi,
I'd be
Fantastic. I'm ready.
No jokes while we're trading. All right, here we go again. Time for the next lesson, Igor.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be even more fascinating than the last one.
I advise you to take this seriously. You wouldn't make fun of someone teaching you how to handle C4, would you?
Probably not.
Of course you wouldn't. So imagine this. Every piece of junk you stash is a brick of C4. You have to place it gently, wisely, and efficiently, otherwise it'll explode.
To my knowledge, canned food doesn't...
Don't interrupt. Why do you take everything so literally? It's a goddamn metaphor, goddammit. If I ever get to meet Tatiana, the first thing I'm going to ask is what she ever saw in a tedious egghead like you.
You and me both.
Anyway, you have to be careful and mentally present when arranging your shit. Trust that your life depends on it. That's lesson number 2.
Okay. What's lesson number 3?
It's called believe.
Believe in what?
Believe that you will find whatever you need in your bag without checking. Women practice this all the time. What do you say, student?
I want to believe.
Well done, Igor, but don't get cocky. You still need practice. Lots of practice.
I can hear his voice again, Mousy. He whispers.
The Rat King is talking to you.
I wouldn't call it talking necessarily. It's more like a feeling of impending doom. Terror. It's always there, rustling about in the shadows. I can feel its gaze upon me, inhuman, infernal, like something from the void.
Who is the Rat King?
Bet you ask, what is the Rat King? Its mind is beyond the comprehension of us mortals, Mouse.
But surely I can do something to help.
You are helping, Mousy. Yes, of course you are helping. You are my right hand in the struggle against Rat King's forces. But the final battle will be mine, and mine alone.
Why?
As the poet said, the best laid plans of mice and men often go to shit.
I see. And I'm the mouse in this quote?
Why wouldn't you be, Mousy?
Let me...
Of course! Are you hungry, Igor?
Not at the moment, thanks. Are you making something?
Just kidding. The meat I've stashed away, I would never share it with you. Hell, this meat I wouldn't feed to my worst enemy. Or maybe only to my worst enemy.
What are you on about, Mikhail?
I've spent a lot of time in the zone, too much time, doing various kinds of deals. Along the way, I learned about what happened in our beloved motherland after the big fucking reactor exploded.
Okay, let's hear it.
After your dumbass scientists caused the explosion and irradiated us and half of Europe, someone told the party apparatchiks they needed to slaughter all the livestock in the area. We're talking 50,000 sheep and cattle.
Of course. It was regrettable, but a reasonable thing to do, Mikhail.
Right. But we wouldn't be Slavs if it wasn't for our fucking ingenuity and business acumen, huh? We always find a way. Hell, not even 100 years of communism could uproot our inbred knack for wheeling and dealing. Anyway, some genius decided it would be a waste to just throw all that meat in an incinerator. The animals were slaughtered, all right, but not destroyed. Instead, their glow-in-the-dark meat was mixed in with the flesh of healthy animals and shipped to Moscow. Cool, huh?
This sounds like the exact opposite of cool, Mikhail.
The glowing sausages left the party officials scared shitless. Their solution was to immediately ship it somewhere else. Georgia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan. But the truth was already out. And nobody wanted this generous gift. So, there was this freaking ghost train rolling through Ukraine and Belarus, from one station to another, filled with radioactive meat that no one dared touch. This toxic meat train cruised the Soviet Empire for 3 years. 3 fucking years! Before the cooling system broke down. At that point, the KGB stepped in and eventually buried the cargo. But I managed to snag a piece for myself, and I'm keeping it. It could be very valuable one day.
Valuable? How?
Not sure yet. It could have sentimental value. Or maybe I could use it to blackmail someone.
You're insane. Please keep your radioactive meat away from our kitchen. Want to trade?
Just make it fuck...
Top of the morning to you, sir.
Glad to see you're in such good spirits.
I like my spirits as much as any man, but I never drink before 6 p.m. It's my liver. Anyway, I'm glad you helped me with the Duca Raider. I know that at one time you were knee-deep in that shit, but I don't hold it against you.
That's mighty generous of you. But unfortunately, I can't recall. It's buried somewhere in my memories.
Yeah, well, everyone's done something they'd rather forget. Besides, there were different times. Must have been really fucked up living through the Cold War, huh? The two superpowers with their fat fingers on the big red buttons, 24/7. Missile defense systems, mind control, LSD experiments, even detonating tactical nukes. It all happened here. Do you remember any of that?
The only explosion I have a vague recollection of was the RBMK explosion. Where are you getting all this stuff from, Sashko?
I met a guy when I was doing time in Putia. He knew someone who knew someone. You know how it goes. At that time, I thought it was just stupid. Tinfoil hat talk, or too many drugs. Only after I came to the zone did I start to realize some of it might be true. Crazy, right?
Believe me, Sashko, that's not crazy at all. I would like to read...
Sure.